Hey, hello and welcome SAP BTP knowledge sharing session. So let's discuss on data persistence. So in this data persistence, there are few options, that is data stored operation, persist and write variable. So now we'll discuss on write variable. So what is write variable? So in other programming language, there is a concept variable, right? So we can store the data runtime, right? Whenever the program executing. So in CPI also, we can store the data either in runtime or we can store the data and later we can use this data from directly from one your flow or other flow. Okay, so let's come to the flow. So let me just create one content modifier first. So in this content modifier, first I will add one element. That will be your, that will be start from, it will be your expression and your source value will be your camel expression, right? So this is your camel expression and this is your current date and time along with the hour, minute, second. And data type will be java dot length dot string. Okay, let me add another element, that will be your last run. And if you see in the source type, I am just selecting local variable. So there are many source type. So right now we are discussing local variable. So there, if you see, there is another option, global variables. So local variable, the scope of your variable within your flow. And if you choose global variable, then the scope of your variable outside your flow as well. Means we can get the variable data from any package from your corresponding tenant. So let me just put one source value name. So I can put last run store. So where I will use this source value, I am just showing you. So let me add another pallet. So if you search with write variable, so I can find. So this is coming under your persistence. So this is your write variable. So if I put this, then add, and name will be last run store, type will be expression, that type will be string, and your value will be just come to this. Like I am just selecting the expression. Expression, whenever I am choosing expression, it will be dollar packet so t dot start run. Fine. And if I save that, then I can add another content modifier. can add a message body. So what will be the message body? So I can write this is start run. So what will be your start run? If I go to content modifier, then I can use this start run. Again, I'm using expression. You can put dollar dot my start run. Again, I can just copy. This is last run. Again, I can go to content modifier. I can copy this last run. Okay. So let me deploy that. And also I'm just putting trace as well. Okay. So let me just executing this, then you will understand. So this is my input message. This is my sender as a postman, and I am sending that. So this is why the last run is not coming, because first time I am executing. Okay, let me see again. Okay. So if you see, whenever I am executing, this is your start run. So whenever I will execute again, so your start run will be storing in your last run. So just note down this time, 21:05:37. So if I execute again, it is coming here. So that's mean whenever any iFlow will be executing, we can store our start run in the last run. So whenever we'll be discussing the success factor scenario, so this is very much important, because whenever anytime your iFlow will be executing, we have to store the data. So how this is working? So whenever I am executing this iFlow from Postman, so if I go to content modifier 1, so if you see, I have just declared this last run and start run. So your last run is, your source type is local variable, and your source value I have declared in my write variable pallet. So if you go to processing, so this is your last run store, and what is the value? Value I am just storing my first run. First run means whenever I am just executing this iFlow, every time it is storing in my last run variable. Correct. And if I go to the content modifier again, and this is straightforward, that is an expression, and this is the current date and time along with hour, minute and second. See, if I go to second content modifier, so what I am doing, I am just executing this, I am just keep this as expression. So your start run will be your start run, and your last run will be, every time it will be storing your start run every time. So if I go to integration, so if you see, there is a variable, right? So right now this is my last run. So every time if you see, that is storing your last run. So if I execute again, So again your start run come to last run, and what is your last run? Last run is your 2106. So if I go to the variable, so let's see what we can see. Just refresh, and if I click this, if you see 210832. So 210832, and if you see 210238. So that's mean right now this data is storing in your local variable. So whenever again I will just execute, it will take the data from here and it will come to your last run. Okay, so I'm just open the forum for any question. So after that we'll come to another part of this data persistence. Okay.